This is a basic search skills video which can be watched quickly, and then there is actually a series of much longer videos that go into search skills in more detail. So how do we search for information? In a library, we find the correct Dewey section, for example, dinosaurs or the solar system. And then once we've found the book, we look at the chapter titles and the index. And that's how we make our way into information within a library. But on the internet, we search for the specific term straight away. We don't say dinosaurs, we go straight for Triceratops. How do we know if something is expert information? Well, non-fiction books are expert if they have an expert author or consultant, and if they have a list of books or websites that were used in the making of the resource. A website is expert if the people who write the information are experts, and we can find out about that by looking at the About section of a website. Expert websites don't always list where they got their information from, but expert websites should tell you about the qualifications of the writers in the About section. So for example, if we were to research African elephants in a library, we're going to find African elephants in the mammals section at 599. So we're going to find it by category, and then within that section of mammals, we might find an elephant's book, or we might find elephants in a section of a book. But on the internet, we go searching straight for African elephants, and we're interested in whether the information is expert. So we really care about who is responsible for the site, and we can trust sites that are zoos or museums or educational sites where we know who wrote it because of the About section. So here we can see the World Wildlife Organization has an About section which tells us about their experts. Now, how do we actually make writing into our own? We've copied and pasted information from the internet. How do we change it enough so that it's actually our own thinking? Well, there's actually three ways that we can do it. We can either build from keywords, we can paraphrase, which is where we put lots of synonyms in and move chunks around, and we can just look away and write it ourselves afresh, just going back to get the correct spellings. But the big thing about this is that no matter which of these three methods you use, you are going to be noticing which are the keywords, which are the important facts. So let's just look at building sentences from keywords as one really useful method. And so we have to go through really find the keywords, and then how do we make it look different? Well, we use synonyms, but we don't chuck away the technical terms. If it says planet or earth or dinosaurs, we don't reword that. We add lots of extra words of our own. We move chunks around, for example, the order of things in a list. And my super special trick is add in some persuasive devices, such as a rhetorical question, descriptive or emotive language, and address the reader. So these tricks that you use for persuasive writing can be used really powerfully in a text that you are writing for information. So whenever we look at a text, we know that that first sentence in a paragraph is generally the topic sentence, and the rest of the paragraph is going to be about that topic. So here we have African elephants shape their habitat in many ways. So we know that the rest of the paragraph will be details about how African elephants shape their habitat. And there might even be a heading, above this section that might even say African elephants are nature's engineers, something like that, because headings carry main ideas. So let's have a look here in a bit more detail. What are the key words in this passage? So I've underlined the topic sentence for you to sort of remind you that it carries the main idea of the paragraph. And the main idea there is shape their habitat. That's the key words there. And then for each different sentence, I have chosen a different color to highlight with But essentially, I've found the keywords, and these are the words that I would suck out to use later. Yeah, so that's just how I do it. I go through and I find the keywords. You can see that keywords might be a lot of nouns like tusks, dung, plants, seeds, and also keywords can involve actions like dig up dry riverbeds, create watering holes. So basically the keywords are carrying the key information. So let's look at another passage here about African elephants. And you can see the topic sentence that I've underlined talks about the fact that the African elephant is the largest animal walking the earth. And then the paragraph goes on, actually. It's a lot longer than what we can see here. And it talks a lot about the appearance of the African elephant. But yet again, I found the key words: largest animal walking, herds, 37 countries, Africa, and so on. So that's how I find the keywords. I actually colour highlight them. I don't change colour for each sentence. I just do it with a yellow highlighter. So here is what a kid in Year 2 did, moving the keywords into sentences. And the fun thing is that this Year 2 student added a rhetorical question and a few extra words at the end. But we can actually make it look really different. And so here on the left, we've got the original passage with the keywords that I found were important. And then on the right, you can see that I've added a lot extra, moved some chunks around, and tried to make it look really different. How did I make it look different? Which tricks did I use? Well, I made sure that I kept the same topic sentence idea. So the topic sentence idea was that African elephants are the largest land animals on Earth. So I kept that same main idea in the topic sentence. But you can see wherever the yellow is that I put in synonyms to change it up a bit. Now, whenever you can see the green highlight, that's when I'm keeping technical terms. And when you see blue highlight, that's when I added in a whole lot of extra words so that it's not looking like it did on the internet. So really use that trick, add extra words. And you can see here that the persuasive devices that I've put in also make it look different. So there's a rhetorical question, did you know? And also there's some emotive words for the African elephant: magnificent, handy, and useful. So if you put in synonyms, you use some emotive language, you move chunks around, we brought the trunks down to the bottom of this paragraph, and we put the flapping ears into the middle section, so we move the chunks around. If you do all of that, then your work looks really different. But what's important is you might have changed the words around a lot, but you really do have to list every single website that you used, because it's, even if you change the words a lot, it's cheating if you don't say the websites where you found the information. So at the end of your assignment, you put either references or bibliography. That they just mean lists of resources. And I'm strongly recommending that you use ClassTools.net Citation Generator. I think it's a fantastic online tool to help you put your references list together. So pretty much you put the URL into the box and you press submit. And what you'll find is that underneath that box you put it into, they will give you a reference. And they often have author unknown. And that's because when you go back to the website, you can't actually find the author. So if that's the case, if you've had a really good look on the website and you cannot find the author, when you write the reference out, remove author unknown and just start with the title of the article. And the last thing you need to know is that references are in alphabetical order. So if you've got an author like myself, Elizabeth Chase, if I have written a resource, I'm going to go into this references list under Chase, Elizabeth. So I will come after African elephant. There will be Chase, Elizabeth, and then there would be the resource that I have written.